Sapporo, the capital city of the northern Japanese island of Hokkaido. It's famous for its beer, skiing, and annual Sapporo Snow Festival. Now earlier this year we had the chance to explore this beautiful city over 4 nights. And in this episode, let me share you all the things we did, what we ate, and hopefully it inspires you to visit this beautiful snowy city. First things first, getting to Sapporo. You can either fly down to Nichitose Airport then take the train to Sapporo Station, a 40-minute ride. Or you can explore Hokkaido from Hakodate like us, stopping at different cities on the way up towards Sapporo. If you're visiting different cities in a short period of times, you can check out the Hokkaido Rail Pass as it gives you unlimited rides on all JR Hokkaido lines. You can check out Pelago by Singapore Airlines for tickets option. Accommodation. Sapporo is vast, especially for a first-timer, and you might wonder where is the best place to stay at. We stayed at Onsen Ryokan UN Sapporo this trip because we love a place that has an onsen, so it was a big part of our planning on where to stay. But if you're looking for the best activities throughout the day, then areas like Odori or Susukino, which is known for its nightlife, is an ideal area to start your journey here in Sapporo. One thing Sapporo is famous for is Miso Ramen. After all, this is the birthplace of this type of ramen. While there were many places that specializes in miso ramen, we were firstly attracted to this store called Ebisoba Ichigen. Now they're very famous for their shrimp miso ramen, and we're gonna order a few things. So there's a couple of selections. The original, which is just a full concentrated of shrimp flavor. Then you got the moderate, where it's a mix of shrimp and also pork, and same with the extra rich flavor. That's the one we're gonna get. That's gonna be like a mix of shrimp and mix of pork flavor in it. And then the seasoning, you can choose either the shrimp and miso, shrimp and salt, or shrimp and soy sauce. And then finally, the noodle, again, a little bit like Ichiran, you can pick the noodle thick or thin. So we are opting for the shrimp and pork. It's gonna be absolutely creamy and dense, so it's gonna stick well with thicker noodle. Oh man, you can smell that ebi, unbelievable, the aroma. Okay, so got it. Here, spring onion on top, the thick noodles underneath, I can see that, and then a very dense, creamy broth there. Then on top here, you got a little bit of the Japanese ginger, I think that's called gari, and then some egg, and then chashu, of course. Oh wow, and also we got the sort of rich one, so it's very rich in flavor. You can just feel the umami burst. The miso is so balanced in this particular dish. Really, like it's light. Oh, this is really interesting. So this is the ginger here, right? It's almost like a really good condiment to eat with the noodle, you know, so it's like crispy and it's got all that flavor, that richness from the broth. All right, look at that thick noodles. Oh, really intense. This is such a rich broth, but the miso is really light, and the thicker, chewier noodle just is the perfect combo and balance to all the richness in this broth. Really amazing. If you're someone who loves skiing or snowboarding, then Mount Moiwa here in Sapporo is a good alternative to Niseko, as it's only about 25 minutes from the city center. But it also acts as an incredible vantage point to Sapporo City. You can head up the Ropeway, but our advice is to go close to sunset. The light changing and golden hour is a sight to be marveled at. You pretty much get the best of 2 sides of the day. You'll soon realize that Sapporo is unique to cities like Tokyo. Curries in Tokyo are usually thicker and creamier, but Sapporo is famous for its soup curry. Here the curry is soupy. We had the chance to try Suage, a restaurant famous for its soup curry. Though the line was long and we waited over 40 minutes, but this is our experience. First of all, like you've got to pick all the different curries here.
And then you choose the soup style. So Nick got the Suage soup. I add another squid ink. Then you basically choose how spicy you want to be.
So this is my chicken leg curry. So that's a fried chicken there. Inside you got some eggplant, carrot, squash. There's like so many different stuff. Broccoli I see there. And boiled egg as well. Got that chicken now smeared with that soup curry. Let's give this a go.
So they give you veggie, not only just meat.
So this is probably the most healthiest like curry dishes out there. Yeah, it's a little bit odd, you know. I've never really thought about soup curry. It feels like a curry that's slightly diluted. It's not as strong, but it's just got all that flavor, the richness, the mild kick to it, the spiciness, and when you add a little bit of that meat on top as well, it actually works really well. Sapporo has plenty things to do, especially during the winter season as the city gets fashioned with light illuminations and festivals. One of the first things we decided to do is check out a local theme park here called ShiroiKoibito Park, which is actually a chocolate theme park. You can take a tour of the facility and learn how the famous white chocolate known as ShiroiKoibito, which is a specialty of Hokkaido, is made.
Wow, we haven't actually explored outside. We just went around the factory. And
That's right.
I think it's super worth it to come. It's really, really
It's
cool.
quite interesting to see, I guess, how things are made and sort of the
Correct.
history behind this place.
That's right.
And it's just, it's actually a fun, enjoyable place, like a little theme park for family, you know?
That's right, that's right. And you learn a lot, like the history, how they make it. There's like English as well, so it's very, very good. And there's of course a gift shop, right? So the cookie itself is very famous, so you can buy anywhere. So I didn't try that, but I bought something that never seen before. I'm not sure what's this one. It's like, I think the cake. And also they have some chocolate as well, obviously. And this is one of the famous chocolate drink from the brand Ishia chocolate. Oh, so good, so milky. I think it's not too sweet for my liking, but yeah, it's very good. And you know what? This is actually not in the fridge. It's just off the shelf, but it's still cold.
Sapporo is also home to the famous Sapporo beer. On this trip, we decided to check out the Sapporo Beer Museum. There were a couple of rooms that dive into the history of Sapporo beer, but overall it's a fast experience that ends you at the queue to get a fresh Sapporo beer. So naturally, we had to try it.
It's time to get drunk. I'm just kidding. It's time to try the beer. Oh, very refreshing. It's so good, especially after walking so far. This is so good. All right.
The museum also has restaurants that serves a dish called Genghis Khan, which is unique to Hokkaido and Japan as they use mutton here. As there are many specialized Genghis Khan restaurants here, we decided to head back to the city center and try one there instead. While most restaurants like this one requires booking in advance, there are also ones you can queue. We waited for an hour in the cold, bracing the minus 10 degrees Celsius coldness to try this spot called Ruma. You ready for this, Helmi? Now what sets Genghis Khan restaurant apart is the way the grill is shaped, mimicking a soldier's helmet, with unique patterns to contain all the meat juice within the bottom of the grill plate. As an Australian, we have one of the finest mutton meat here. We were kind of skeptical whether the gaminess could be perfectly taken out here, but they actually did a good job. The cuts and the quality was on point. It was tender, soft, and the sauce that had a little bit of that chili really helped spice things up. Adding acidity and sweetness as it cuts through the lean and fatty parts of the meat was just beautiful. What I love about the Genghis Khan grill is the fact that they use charcoal. Right? It's charcoal, and then right underneath that, you can see there is patterns on the actual grill. So all the meat juice just comes down and then stays around it, and then that actually seasons the onions. So when you get the onions, which is like sort of charred, and you put it into the dipping sauce, oh my goodness, it is just like so sweet. It's full of like flavor, like enhances the flavor. One thing that we had also been eyeing here in Sapporo was their crab. Hokkaido is really famous for its fresh, sweet, and juicy crab. Oh wow, look at this crab. It is just gigantic. It's insane. Oh man. So this place is really famous for crabs. So almost every vendor sells crab here. It's the Sapporo Crab Market, and it is maybe about 20 minutes on the public transport northwest of the city. It's quite far out, but it is probably one of the best places to eat your crabs here. And on this section, you got all the aquarium crabs right here. Like, there's so much crab. It's like overflowing. Some of them are trying to get out. Oh my goodness. We're in this restaurant called Umedo, and unfortunately we're not gonna get the king crab. It is too big for us, for two of us. It is probably better suited if you're coming 4 to 5 people. Like, it's insane. I think it's about 5 kilo, and each kilo is about $150. So you can imagine that is a lot of money for 2 people. We ordered the hairy crab instead, so that's I think about 800 grams, and then in total 600 or 800 gram, and then we're paying about close to $100, which is like a better deal for 2 of us.
Look at this. They're so nice. They open it for you. Ta-da! So what you need to do is just scrape it and eat it. How nice. Wow, so sweet. Like, the meat is super juicy. It's so sweet. It's just very nice. If you eat it just like this, I mean, it's already perfect. But you know, as Indonesian, love to dip it in chili sauce. Will be perfect.
So this is purely just steam, but it is already absolutely full of flavor, full of that umami goodness. All the meats are just soft, super soft. It's so easy to kind of peel off the shell. It's just brilliant. Like, it's one of the best things to do in Sapporo is definitely eat crab. Other than the Sapporo Crab Market, there is another market that you can visit in Sapporo, which is actually nearer to the city center, the Nijo Market right behind me. They offer a lot of things, of course, crab as well, kaisendon, and all other market goods. But one thing I love about this particular market is how close it is to the Sapporo TV Tower, which is quite an iconic building here in Sapporo. Right in the city center, this structure is definitely unique. And even more special if you happen to be here during the annual Sapporo Snow Festival, where areas like Susukino and Odori are transformed into a magical wonderland.
Welcome to Sapporo Snow Festival. In Susukino area, it's sort of like ice sculpture, and they're very talented. As you can see, the details are so on point. Whereas in Odori Park, it's more like snow sculpture. There's so many illumination at night as well. It's so beautiful, especially the Sapporo Tower.
Yeah, look at that right behind Helmi, the Sapporo TV Tower. That is gorgeous.
Gorgeous. It's like Christmas tree, right?
Yeah, it's like a biggest Christmas tree I've ever seen.
Exactly.
I just remember now, that is a character from Spy Family.
Yeah, very famous.
The little girl. Walking the ground will fetch you unique experiences. But you can actually head up the Sapporo TV Tower for a bird's eye view down the Odori side. There are blocks of light illuminations. When you look at it, it's just so calming. There are entry fee up this observatory deck, but we got our tickets through Pelago by Singapore Airlines. But honestly, Sapporo's winter season is one of the most beautiful seasons to come and visit. Just wear very warm clothes though. And with a couple hours left till the end of the night, we decided to head back down to Susukino to try one of this famous oyster bar. The trick is to come quite early as you can wait up to an hour or longer. The bar is fairly small and has minimal seats. But once you're in, there are an extensive selections when it comes to oyster here. From baked, fried, to cheese. The first one we got was this oyster in sesame oil. Honestly, I'm never a fan of oyster, even in Australia. A lot of the time, it's very pungent and briny in taste. But having tasted many different seafood items here in Hokkaido, I had a feeling this will be a treat. And just like that, the sesame oil was the combination that blew our taste bud. The oyster quality was impeccably fresh. It was extremely bouncy but soft. And the sesame oil took out any fishiness flavor and gave that fresh oyster the flavor it deserved. For variety, we also got scallop baked with butter and soy sauce, which honestly felt like it was just microwave. Nevertheless, the scallop was fairly decent, wasn't our favorite though. Next up, the deep fried breaded oyster, which had panko crumbs on it. Just imagine a crispy outer layer and the inside is just a warm blast of oyster mixed with oil. Definitely an interesting texture, but somehow still a fan of the sesame oil one. Feels like oysters are always good when it's fresh and very little things are added to it. And lastly, we got some baked oyster with cheese. Now, I can't say no to cheese here in Hokkaido. It was creamy, cheesy, and quite an interesting bite. But a bar experience will never be complete without a fresh beer, so of course, some beers to finish the experience. And in total, it cost us about $30 here. Probably one of the most affordable bar we've been to in Japan. And so if you're coming down to Sapporo, I hope our 3 days itinerary serves as an inspiration on the many things to do in this beautiful city on the northern side of Japan, Sapporo. And thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next Japan episode.